Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Tefilla. Must be precise, accurate, and straight from the heart. The mitzvah Bikurim, the beginning of Parshat Kitavo, talks about the pilgrim bringing his fruits up to Yerushalayim, making a statement. Aram Avi talking about the history of the Jewish people, about our forefathers and Yaakov, what they went through and where we are today. And the Mishnah Bikurim in the first parak says that there's some pilgrims that bring the fruits but do not recite the tefillah, such as a ger, a convert. He's holy, very close to Hashem. We have unbelievable regard for the convert, but he cannot say, according to the Mishnah, we don't pass in this way, but he cannot say the line that our Avi taught about his forefathers, where they're not his forefathers. He traces DNA all the way back. It's not going to go back to Yaakov, and therefore that's an inaccurate statement. Some say that he cannot say because it talks about the nachala, the inheritance. A ger doesn't have our typical chelek, piece of Eretz Israel. We hold actually the ger can say it, and that's the halacha, because some say he will in the future have a chelek of Eretz Israel. He will have a piece of Eretz Israel in the future, Messianic times. And then we talk about the forefathers. Forefathers don't only mean biological forefathers, can also mean ideological forefathers. And their fathers, like Yaakov, are his fathers. And this applies to Tefillah. There are those that said, the same author of the Mishnah said, that a ger cannot daven the regular daven. He cannot say Elokeinu, Elokei Avotenu. They're not his forefathers biologically. But we paskin that we do say that line. A ger does say that line because ideological, they're his forefathers. But my question is the following. Why don't we just say that a ger says what everyone else says? And all tefillos are set and they're across the board. We don't differentiate in this case. It is accurate, it's not accurate, it does apply, it does not apply. Let him just always say it. And why should this not be like other mitzvah? We have the concept of low plug. What does low plug mean? Low plug means that halach is set. For example, a person has a headache on Shabbat, he doesn't take Advil. Why? Because he's going to come to grind the herbs in his yard and make medicine. That was an example from a few thousand years ago. Who is ever going to do that today? And yet, the halacha is that if you have a minor headache, you don't take Advil. But I'm not going to come. Doesn't matter. There's a psak, and we say low plug. We don't differentiate. It does apply, it doesn't apply. Yet, over here in this case and other cases as well, the poskim are not ready to do that when it comes to tefillah. The Ramah says a woman shouldn't say brit chasha chasamta v'sarenu and bench it. She doesn't have a bris. Mishnah Berurah says the minute gets to do it, brit chasam v'sarenu. It's plural. It doesn't just refer to her. But why not just say this is a tefillah and that's it? So I think there's a beautiful point here. When do we say low plug? That we keep the law across the board and we don't differentiate between case and another case when it comes to an action. You can't go ahead and ride a horse on Shabbat. You might come to it for a branch. I don't care if there's no branches around. Can't ride the horse. Can't take Advil. I'm not care if you're going to come to grind medicine or not. It doesn't matter. Halacha takes on a life of its own. It's called low plug. Over here, when I'm davening, I'm talking to Hashem. And it has to be precise. It has to be straight from the heart. It has to be accurate and precise. So if I'm a ger, and the term means my forefathers, and it means my biological forefathers, it's just a lie. I can't lie to Hashem. And if the line in benching means bris hasam b'sveinu, I have a bris milah, it's just not true. They have to poskim grapple with, well, it doesn't have another meaning. It's not referring to me, it's referring to us. So therefore, you'll always see the poskim grapple with the accuracy of tefillah, and they won't just say, well, this is what you do it. Because when it comes to tefillah, you're talking to Hashem. And that's different than just another low plug kind of halacha. And therefore, by a ger, once they can show, avotenu, my forefathers, they are my spiritual forefathers. Makes sense. You say the regular term. But if they couldn't make sense of it, then they're going to have to deal with it. It's going to be challenging how to go ahead and daven those words. And that's how all of the tefillos are. We should always, Myers Hashem, have that precision in tefillah, and know and recognize and be in awe of the fact that we have the zechut, the merit, the privilege to be speaking to Hashem. And it should be clear, it should be precise, and straight from our hearts.